Hello and welcome to Inside the Mind of, a podcast where I dive deeper into the minds of some of my favorite people and people who inspire me in the wrestling community. I, of course, am your host, Katie Kinsey, baby. Joining me today, she is the First Lady of the Public Enemies podcast. I'm, of course, talking about All Elite with Miss Keeks. Hello, how are you?
Thank you for having me. I am doing wonderful on this summer out here in Dallas. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you.
Oh, of course. You were one of the people I've seen you on Twitter. I know of Public Enemies. I've interacted with them a few times. So I was like, you know what? She seems super cool, and I would love to talk to her. And this is me being like, hey, be my friend for an hour and talk to me about stuff.
Of course, I'm open to it, yes.
So I always start these the same question if I do interview a podcaster. How did you get your start in podcasting?
Well, first it started off as writing. I did start off as a writer, and I wrote for this brand. I don't want to say their names, but they're one of the brands is canceled. I
Got it?
did write for them. Um, I pitched an idea. The person that's over that content didn't like it, so I felt like okay, it was basically forefronting Jacqueline, as she was the first black WWE champion, women's champion. So I wanted to do an article on her, and he immediately dismissed it. So that is when I was like, okay, this brand is not for me. Let me just do my own thing. I started doing my own thing, and then that turned into just let me just do podcasting. So I did start off small, and then we're still friends. His name is Miko. Miko schedule was too hectic to continue to do it. So then I saw that Public Enemies was looking to expand. So I had reached out to Graham and I was like, Graham, y'all need an AEW based show on y'all stuff. So I pitched the idea. I told him this and this and this and this, and he was with it. And then we're here.
I love that you took it into your own hands and you said, listen, Graham, I know you guys like want to expand, but like here's this idea and you know it'll work. And it has been working.
Yes, sometimes it's okay to try to shoot your shot. You never know who will say yes. Well, we know no's happen, but it takes the one yes sometimes. So,
You know what? I love that. Everybody who's listening and watching this later on, remember that. We'll come
hmm
back to more advice later. Don't worry, don't worry. Uh, so if you had to guess, how many episodes have you done with Public Enemies, like for your show?
for my show, I am currently on number 60 something. I don't really pay attention to the number until he tells me. But it ha- I'm at 40 or 50, one of those. Charge my heart, not my mind, y'all. I'm sorry.
You're totally fine.
But it's been a full year. I can't say that. It's a
Okay.
whole year since I've been with Public Enemy, so I can't say that.
Okay, so with the whole year of being with Public Enemies, do you have a favorite episode that you've done of your own show, or even if you were like a guest on just like Public Enemies' normal show?
My favorite show, I would say when I did during the Women's History Month, I did a whole ladies' night. That whole month is just women guests that I had on my show, and I really enjoyed it. Allowing us women to, we are just as informative as the men, and having a great conversation, and just different from different outlets. You had people from Women's Wrestle Talk, those wrestling girls, and just different people lyric, and it was just a good time, just a good time. So that was my favorite, and I like doing it, and I'm gonna continue to do that too. So
Okay.
I always want to show ladies the love.
As you should. Listen, I
hmm
love those wrestling girls. I've had both of them on here. Queen PR, Chrissy B, those are my girls. Love them. I've been trying to get the two of them together. I've done shows with them separately, so I've been trying to like
Mm,
be like, guys, you're both close. We can do this. We can make this happen. I promise. Uh,
right. Well,
s-
see, I had Doll on the show from those wrestling because I know that she does
okay.
the is it the show that they talk about like mostly like kayfabe things and stuff. It's on their Patreon show.
Oh, I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I do know what you're talking about, but names are just not cooperating
right,
right now.
right.
So I love the fact that you like like you had like your ladies' night. You had different women's guests on there. Me and my co-host, it's just me and her. We're all women's wrestling over here. So I love that and I appreciate that and I love when content creators focus more on not just the women in wrestling, but like us, like the women
Yeah,
in wrestling, but not in wrestling. You know.
because we do need more love out here. Like it's so we have different things to offer. Not I don't want to say so many of us, but it's still a great number of us in this male dominant industry. And it's hard, but we need each other. We have each other's back more than ever. So
100%. And I know everyone heard or saw the clip of Triple H in that media room talking about where are these women at? Paul, don't you worry, we're trying.
exactly.
We are trying.
Yeah.
So with again your year with Public Enemies and like being a guest on other people's shows, any unexpected moments that have happened that kind of made you like question everything, bust out laughing, and you didn't expect it, anything like that off the top of your head?
I would say the DMs, when you have men giving you a test just to make sure that you are a real wrestling fan randomly. Yeah. I'm like, do y'all do that to the man that does podcasting? Why do y'all only have to do that to us? I don't,
To
but
be
I always get those.
those, it's a lot of like kind of creepy, but then just like toxic male wrestling fans just in the DMs. It's
Hmm.
I don't get it. I really don't.
And then I want to put it on private, but then I'm like, well, then somebody might want to reach out to me and do a show, so I can't just not, I ignore it now. Back then, I used to say some words to them, but now I just ignore it or I laugh now.
Sometimes it is kind of fun to just like poke the bear a little bit and see what does happen. So I
Hmm.
understand completely. So when you're not podcasting, what other hobbies do you have? I do know you are a mama, so I know you got your kids, but anything specifically you do with them?
Yes. Most recently, I just took them to the splash park. I try to make sure I stay outside to touch grass, as they say. Hanging out with my friends, just to make sure that I still have an outside life than just working and then doing podcasting. You want to always make sure you have like a day or a weekend to yourself where it's non-wrestling, so that way you can keep, your creativity going, so you won't drive yourself crazy. So I make sure I value the time out with my kids. I take them movie nights, uh, take them swimming sometime, or if they do what they supposed to do, then yes. But most of the time, make sure I have a social life as well, so, to keep from going insane. Because if we stay, as content creators, we stay engaged on social media to keep our brands afloat,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes we don't want to overdo it because it'll drive us completely crazy. Like we need a break. We need, So I just try to make sure I have a social life. And then some hobbies I like to do, I do like to paint. I do abstract painting. I will do that from time to time. And yeah, just to keep my mind, or I'll read, or I will look at other things outside of wrestling, like a movie or a series, or binge watch something. So.
I I always go on monthly movie dates for myself, so I just take myself to the movies. Like I just went to see the new Insidious by myself at like 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon, just me in the movie theater. It was fantastic.
Did you like it? Because I was like, they need to give it up.
I I'm happy that it's I'm putting it in quotes, supposed to be the end of this, but like the credits played and then the light flickered on the door and I'm like, no way.
Not again.
I love those types of movies, like suspense movies, Insidious, Conjuring, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like, oh, no. And like I love Patrick Wilson, but no, no more.
I know he wants to be top. I know he's like, okay, y'all, I can't do it no more.
He's like, I'll direct them for you, but like I don't want to be in them.
I'm tired of being in them.
He's tired of getting possessed and harassed, and like Conjuring and Insidious. Mans get beat up
Yeah, he's
all the time.
tired.
All of the
He is
time.
tired.
So this question, I always love hearing the answers to.
Hmm.
So like I think I like briefly mentioned I ask like everyone the same questions usually, and then if something like sparks it, then we'll go on a little tangent here and there. But this one always gives good results. So if you could have a dinner with any 3 wrestlers, dead or alive, who are you picking and why?
Well, everybody knows I am a big Jericho fan, so definitely Jericho.
Okay.
Definitely Bianca Belair, and oh, it's so hard. Orange Cassidy. I'm curious. Out of curiosity.
Like, would he even talk during the dinner, do you think?
Right. I just like, so tell us about you. Just, he'll probably be like,
Whatever.
whatever.
Sunglasses on, jean jacket, no shirt underneath.
I'm just here for the food. He look like he'll order fries with his steak.
He'll just get a plate of fries. Like he won't get anything else.
Yeah, if it was the 10, I'll probably have a rundown, but those are the three off the top of my head. Because Bianca Belair, she's amazing to me. And then of course, like I said, Orange Cassidy is curious, but Chris Jericho, everybody, I'm a huge fan of Chris Jericho. I've been a Jericho fan since WCW, so
I
that's
wonder.
always been my number two.
I kind of wonder if that's like a Texas thing because my co-host loves Chris Jericho. She just turned like 21, 22, so she's still really young. But Jericho's in like her infinity gauntlet of like favorite wrestlers. So it's very interesting. You're both from Texas and you both love Chris Jericho. So I wonder if that's like a correlation I'm not seeing now.
I want to say because Texas has always been known for the sportatorium. So when we see wrestlers that have like like we like Shawn Michaels, we love Eddie Guerrero, like the well-rounded wrestlers that's really good at adapting to each style. I guess you could say that is a Texas style type of wrestling. That's why we like it or like that person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he caught my eye because he can go with the luchadors. He can go with the strong style at the time. And he was really good on the mic. And then what captured me even more is how he reinvents himself each time. Like he knows how to reinvent himself. And that is a very hard thing to do, especially in wrestling, because things can go stale. But he knows how to just capture he can make the corniest thing so over. Like the list thing that he did with WWE was like the corniest thing, but he just had it going so over that people hated when it died down. But that's just really caught my eyes with him. And then especially him beating two of the biggest baby faces at the time at the same time, the Rock and Stone Cold, that really just like had as a kid I was just going insane. I got in trouble for being loud, but I was just jumping up and down. But yes, I love Chris Jericho.
Okay. I always love hearing like why people choose who they pick. A lot of people pick like their favorite wrestlers, or I've had people pick like one person from the past. like current, and then someone they think is like going to be a future star kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I love hearing people answer this question. And there's so many different people you can choose. Like, how many wrestlers are there in the world?
So many.
So many.
So many.
And I think if I like went back and counted not that long ago, I think Eddie and The Rock were like the top two choices almost everybody picked, or like the majority of interviews I've done, people pick The Rock and Eddie.
Eddie is my number one. Jericho is my number two. It was definitely Eddie Guerrero was my favorite wrestlers. Nobody will never get another Eddie
Uh,
ever.
Very true. We will
Yeah.
never, and just imagining the what ifs if everything didn't
Yeah.
happen. Ugh.
When they said that it was going to be an Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels, and at the next WrestleMania, I was like, oh my God, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see them match up.
That would have been one of the greatest matches in history.
Yes. Oh my God. I was like, oh, he had to go so soon.
Wrestling is so tragic sometimes to think about, and
Yeah.
I try not to, but then like Dark Side of the Rings come on, and you're like, oh, what's this one about? Insert wrestler died of insert thing. I'm like, Jesus.
Right. And then we're about to get the Von Erich series to come out soon. I'm like, y'all, just get ready, prepare yourselves.
So I'm younger. I turn 27 next week as we record this. It's like I like knew of the Von Erichs, but I didn't know like the story and how tragic that is.
It is so tragic. Like you will see now. I'm not trying to down their father or nothing like that, but you can definitely see how you have parents that live through their kids, and he pushed them so hard to the point that it led to all of their sons' demise,
Yeah.
like all of them. And I think they said that they'll touch on it, because only one of the brothers is still alive,
Mm-hmm.
and he just moved back to the States because he's been in Hawaii ever since. So, but yeah, it's very traumatic, and they mean a lot, especially out here in Texas, still to this day. Um, but yeah, it's just so tragic. It's Yeah. So I'm like, but having Zac Efron be on it, and I thought that he was gonna be Carrie because it makes sense because Carrie was the attractive one, but it makes sense to play the one that's alive that's telling the story.
And I think
So
MJF is supposed to be in it too.
yeah,
I don't know who he's playing, but just seeing him in an acting role is going to be so entertaining.
yeah, because I think that's originally what he wanted to do anyway. And 'cause wrestling is a good outlet to start it off because we see it successful for The Rock apparently, and then you see it with John Cena, and we're seeing it with Mercedes in a way. So yeah, it's a good out, and Seth Rollins now. So
Batista.
yes, yes. Now that person Batista is probably my favorite wrestler turned actor. He is really good. Like they said he went to the same acting coach as I think it was Robert De Niro's buddy or something like that.
Huh.
They said so.
I mean, he has killed it in every role. Like I even saw like the Knock at the Cabin movie, which was like subpar, but I was like his acting made it good.
Phenomenal. Yes,
When
sold us.
I was like, the apocalypse might happen. Like this man's coming up here in a button up, tied all the way up. No, I'm not trusting it.
At all.
So, you brought up a little bit before how one yes can kind of, like make a difference in like anyone's journey. So, do you have any advice, whether it be podcasting or just life in general, any advice you want to give to the people who are watching or listening?
Yes. Just keep doing what you're doing. I know because I've been there before where you get frustrated that why am I not being seen? Why am I not getting the same support and things like that? It happens. And I also want to say, rejection and stuff is sometimes a good thing because you never know that rejection is going to turn into the biggest opening of your career or what you're trying to strive to be. I was rejected a few times with my idea to a few people, but public enemies told me yes. So don't, keep going. Make sure you're surrounded yourself with genuine people as well. Some people launch onto you for different reasons, but just make sure that you're launching onto people that are truly genuine and truly support you and truly want to see you win. Um, People getting their flowers should not uh trigger an envy for the person that you're supposed to be rooting for or the person that you're supposed to be friends with. Your flowers will be given to you, and just, continue to clap for others until your time comes. Good things happen to people that clap for others. Don't be jealous and don't feel some type of way. Things happen. So don't be afraid and don't let rejection cloud your creativity because everybody is needed. It's more room for everybody to grow. It's enough room on the table. And like you said earlier, like what AAA said, there's no women in here. And you want to know why sometimes some people don't allow women? Because we know more. We ask the real questions and we are better than most of these males that's in podcasting. Like the media scrum proves that because the women ask the correct questions while these men are out here kayfabing and acting like fans instead of quote unquote journalists. So, and they are intimidated by us because we know what we're talking about. And like I said, we're informative. So sometimes they are rejecting these women to be in the same room is because we're forced to be working with, and they know that.
Hell
So
yes. Hell yeah. I love it. Like, we mentioned those wrestling girls earlier. Like, when they popped up, and I can't remember which show it was, but they popped up in the media scrum. I was like, I almost started crying because I was like, those two deserve it. I know Chris would be like asked a question, but I know
mhm.
Queen PR was sitting right next to her, and I was like, those are two genuine human beings who do care about other people, who do put other people before themselves, and are so good with the content they make just in general. So seeing them, like Denise Salcedo, who has made a name in both WWE and AEW,
Yes,
being in both of those, like, there's not a lot of us who get to make it into those rooms, but like you said, the ones who do really make an impact.
yes. And when those wrestling girls was there, they asked a very important question, and especially towards the women division. And you also don't see a lot of people asking questions to the women that they show them some respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to be taken seriously. And those wrestling girls, when they asked the question, I believe was it to it had to be to Rhea Ripley, or was it be Becky? It was one of them.
I
But
can't
they
remember
asked
now.
a legitimate, I can't remember. It was a legitimate question to make, because they're serious superstars, they're athletes. So they asked a genuine question, and then I also saw, like, some people, oh well, how did they get? You know what I'm saying? Like the hate. So they are deserving. I will actually, those wrestling girls need to be more in the media scrums for WWE, especially the impact that they have made. Um, Highlighting women's wrestling and highlighting the women in the WWE division. And I know that they highlight other women as well in the other programs like NXT, also AEW from time to time, uh, Impact and things like that. So they need to be in the media scrums for WWE all the time. Like I need to see PR and Krista B up there all the time. Denise, she's doing her thing. Um, Women's Wrestle Talk, I know for AEW side, they are also in the media scrums, but they are the only ones in the AEW media scrum that ask the legitimate questions and not these kayfabe questions. So shout out to all of them. We need more women in there, and it shouldn't have to be a major name to be in the media scrum. Like give some of the small ones the opportunity too, because they are just as informative. and things like that. So
I,
most definitely. So shout out to them.
I agree 100%. Like, I was talking to Haley from Fightful Overbooked. Uh,
Oh, that's my girl.
I love her to pieces. She's one of my favorite people of all time. I was talking to her, and because it was like after Triple H said the media scrum thing, and her and I were talking, and so she put like an application in to try and get in the media room for SummerSlam, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm gonna be there too. So I shot my shot too. I have a podcast. This is what I have. I'm not with Fightful or a Wrestle News Talk or anything like that. So I was like, screw it. If luck is on my side and I get in there, hell yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yes, that's another thing. Do not be afraid of just doing it. Just shoot your shot. Just shoot it. And just see, you never know. You might get it. Okay. This is it. Here's your badge. Here's your
Like, that would be so cool. And if I can't get it for SummerSlam, I'm gonna try even harder for Payback, because Payback's in my hometown. It's in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So like, I gotta be in there.
Yeah, just keep trying. You never know. They gonna be like, this girl keep, you know what? I'm gonna let her on in because if I see this application one more time, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get on their nerves, make them. Well, you know what? She keeps trying because some people like to see that too. Like we know that Vince McMahon is a person that, as I don't too much care for him as far as
Mm-hmm.
like the other stuff what he's done, but I do for what I've known, seeing him throughout the years. He does not like cowards. He likes people that just keeps bugging him because you really want it. So if you keep bugging, like I'm gonna keep doing this application. Okay, we gonna let her in because she keeps. If I see this application one more time,
They're like, God, just let her
so
in
keep doing it.
already.
Right? Just stop saying no. Maybe she will. You know.
Say yes, and she might surprise you and ask a good question.
Because sometimes you have to do that.
So that's another thing. Everyone needs to shoot their shot and see where luck takes you. Who knows?
Hmm.
Go be on your side. Might not be on your side,
Right.
and that's okay. It happens. So I think I got a few more questions for you. So
Okay.
one of this one is also one of my favorite ones. I love to ask, just again to hear what people say. So, if you could write an autobiography of your life, whether
Mm.
it's just like your entire life, a section of your life, one specific event, what would be the title and why you choosing that title?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, Misunderstood.
Okay.
Misunderstood. The m- um the misconception of Keeks. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
Yes, and I say that because I know I have a reputation, but I have and it's funny because Graham said this on one interview where he compared me to Kanye West, not current Kanye West, but Kanye West in the period 2007, 2010ish, where he said that you may not understand what she's doing right now, but you'll understand years later what she's trying to do. Um, I know I have a reputation where people will say that I am problematic or I am toxic, but they just don't see what I see. Like they don't see the politics side
Mm-hmm.
of content that I am seeing, especially towards women, especially towards Black women in content. Um, you have people that use their politics to make sure that you stay stagnant instead of, getting to where you need to go. So I come in as, I don't care to lose quote unquote connections because I don't really have connections. I'm not trying to uh, take no job I just simply do this because I love wrestling and I like to see other women flourish. So what I'm doing is trying to not trying I will break the cycle, break the wheel of not only um women have to be a certain way and the unfairness that women in content is receiving, like you have to be attached to a male in order to get into certain places.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, if people are not paying attention, but women in content work 20 times harder than men in content. Like we have to uh sell ourselves way more, which is unfair. And we're probably the most duplicated in content. Like people will listen to our show and say that they support us, but in the same token, they are quote unquote stealing our format, stealing our words and making it theirs. And that's not fair. And I don't like it. And I'm gonna always speak on it and I'm gonna always speak my mind. So I do it out of not to start anything. I do it to make it awareness that this is happening. It's happening in our face, and we can't keep ignoring it. And sometimes you have women also that plays a part in it, but it's mostly men that does it, you know? And that's with every industry, whether it's wrestling, whether it's sports media, uh, rap industry. Like it's just the misogyny in certain things. We see it all the time, but it takes a person to be brave enough to say, you need to stop doing this and allow this person to do this. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't have to stay in content forever, but and I know I won't be in forever, but even when I'm out, I'm gonna still always defend women in content. So,
I I
but
I appreciate. I know I will speak for the majority of the women who listen to this. We appreciate you being the one to, you're on like the front line. You're not taking any
hmm
chances. You're like, I'll take all the hits for it, but like it's something that needs to be talked about, and you're 100% correct. Like misogyny, like yes, it's in a lot of different forms of media, but wrestling media is insane.
hmm
It sometimes it blows my mind. Like the majority of friends that I've made in podcasting are guys, and they're all my family. I know damn well if something happened to me, all of them would defend me. Like
right.
that's the bond I have created with these other podcasters. The almost 3 years I've been doing this, so like having like a good group of men to help defend you against the toxicity of men
Yes,
is always a plus.
yes. And we need more of those. Definitely. Even if like, cause I know I do appreciate Public Enemies because they will in a minute, but it shouldn't be like my thing is if you know it's wrong, say something.
Mm-hmm.
Like my issue is if you are friends with somebody that is doing it, you need to check that friend. Like, hey, that's not right. Instead of just ignoring it like it's not happening and continuing on because that's how things keep going. Like you have to speak up. Speak up for your toxic friends. Speak if you know that this person is doing a woman in content wrong or is having something to do with them not elevating, say something. Speak out on it. What's the worst that can happen? You lose what? A connection that you can buy a ticket to a wrestling event. You can buy one. Like you what you gonna lose your free access to go to a show? You can buy one.
Tickets are cheap. Get a nosebleed.
Right. It's not right. It's not worth it. But yes, it's the biggest misperception of me is that I am toxic. But no, I love. I'm passionate, and I'm gonna stand up what's right.
And I love that.
So
We appreciate you.
thank you.
Oh, of course. So this is actually going to come out August 1st. I know it's a few weeks away. I'm gonna be going on vacation for 2 weeks back to back, so I'm trying
Oh,
to get some content now so that will be released because I'm not gonna be able to do my weekly show. So any plans, whether it just be like the podcast you do, any guest appearances for the next, we'll say like month or so, that you kind of want to plug?
I for now I don't because I'm choosing on who I'm allowing on the show. I don't want to over exaggerate it with guests.
Mm-hmm.
But I do plan on having more guests. I want to have more women guests on my show than men. Also, I am associated with Russell Raver promotion out here in Texas. They have an upcoming show on August 19th. Make sure you get your tickets. Um, And let me see. I know around December-ish, that's when I always have my AEW Keeks Awards. So just be on the lookout for that. That's really fun. I do that with Banks. He's always on the show. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the All-In review that I will have as well on my show. So that's so far, yes. That's the only thing that I have off of the top of my head. But yes.
All great content that will be coming. Everyone needs to make sure they are paying attention, stay on the lookout. Now, Keeks, I have been asking you some questions. Now, I always let my guests have the honor. You can ask me any questions you want. I am an open book. It can be podcasting, it can be personal related. Anything you want to ask me, I got you.
Okay, so who are your favorite top five wrestlers?
My top five. Okay. So I don't know if you can see him. It's a little. I have a little Adam Cole right here. He's my permanent little
Okay,
co-host. Uh,
baby.
I
Okay.
do go by Katie Kinsey Bay Bay, so Adam is definitely in the top five. Um, do you want like current or all time?
Either or.
Okay. So Adam's definitely in there. Lita will always be in my top five. I love Lita. I was always Team Lita over Team Trish, even though I do love them both. Thank you, Trish. But I was always Team Lita. Um, I do love me some Wardlow, even though he doesn't get the love he deserves sometimes, especially with that damn title that they keep taking off of him.
Yeah,
It bothers me, that whole TNT title.
he's such a man. Such a
He's
man.
a beautiful man. I miss the man
A
bun.
man.
It, terrible. Ooh, I got two more. It is hard to like try and narrow it down sometimes. Uh, Bianca's definitely in there. She is one of the coolest people. Like getting to see her wrestle live versus just like watching it on TV. The fact that
Oh
she
yes.
creates all of her gear, queen, woman of the
Queen.
year every year. Carmelo Hayes. I
Oh yeah.
I did a lot of like nows, but a lot of those could be like forevers.
Oh my God. So okay. If you would have, okay, if it was hypothetically WWE versus AEW Forbidden Door, Roman versus Kenny, who will win?
Ooh. Hmm. If we talk if we talk Roman right now, who just has Solo and not the rest of the bloodline, ooh, I think Roman would somehow find a way to win. I mean, Solo is sent from the elders. He's wild. It's crazy. He's unpredictable. So I have a feeling he would just show up. Samoan Spike, the Young Bucks, Hangman, everyone's getting a Samoan Spike to help Roman win.
Right. And because I asked this question before and I said, Kenny being not a selfish wrestler, I know Kenny will take the pin, but Kenny will probably give him his best match.
that's that's the thing. Like it's gonna be one hell of a match
Hmm.
regardless. And like this version of Roman is so I can't think of like the specific word. He's so good at like the little details now. Ever since the
Yeah.
pandemic started, like Mans was talking to the camera, like when there was no people there and you could just hear him clearly. He's losing his mind. It's slowly becoming his best work over these past 3 years.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Especially, I've always liked him. I was just like, it's just he is just something he just needs to find it.
Yep.
And I could tell that he was wrestling with a chip on his shoulder because the crowd just kept turning on him, like
Mm-hmm.
kept turning on him. He was supposed to be the one, and it's just like the crowd is not feeling him, and now these same people love him, and it's just like that's what he had to. Whatever he did, it worked.
It was the veneers.
And the beard.
Yes.
The beard, the whole swagger. That's why I was saying on Twitter, I was like, y'all need to appreciate Roman Reigns right now, because as you can tell, he's slowly kind of closing the curtains for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's slowly closing the curtains. So appreciate him, because once he's gone, he's definitely gonna be part-time.
I mean, at least we know he would show up sometimes.
Yeah.
We've been begging Dwayne to show up for a year and a half to come deal with the family drama. Now he's just fighting with Grayson Waller on Twitter. It's like, sir, your daughter's in a cult.
I've said it all the time. Dwayne Johnson never forgets, though. That's what, like, he is probably being petty with this. Like, y'all laughed and y'all thought that I was not going to succeed in Hollywood. Y'all wanted me to fail so bad in Hollywood, even though he did last year, but it's still like, I don't really need wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think it's really on his end being very, very petty right now. Because Dwayne Johnson is, like, from what I've heard, is one of those very prideful, and he doesn't forget anything. Like, he reminds us every chance he gets that he only has $7. So you can just imagine when Vincent will call him, and he'll probably just be like, I can leave you on red.
It's like, my boots have been sitting there. What makes you think I'm putting them back on?
No. I got injured the last time I came back. I'm not doing that again.
See? That's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Y'all injured me, so no. Thank you.
He said, I'm good, guys. Thank you, but
no.
Yeah. Any other questions you want to ask me?
Yes, so list your top 5 favorite women's champion in WWE. Like, it could be Diva era too.
Okay.
Or list your top 5.
Okay. It's actually funny you mentioned that. I just did a panel type video. It was like Haley, Kylie, Kate, all from Fightful, and then Kat from Women's Wrestling Talk, and then Daphne from In the Hot Seat. They just did the top 5 women's champions from the 2000s till now.
Oh, yeah.
I was just there to moderate. I let them. They created a top 5 list. It's incredible. But one of the people on their list is definitely on mine. AJ Lee, hands down.
Yeah.
I loved the difference, the tomboys. Like I said, Lita. So Lita's definitely on there too.
She's so impactful, AJ Lee. We see it currently, like the girls with the hats and the Chuck Taylors and stuff. We see it now.
And like even on, I think it's Cora Jade and Roxanne. They call April AJ mom. I'm like, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So I have to go Rhea Ripley. I love me some Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
She's her as NXT champion. She didn't get like a whole lot of love when she was the Raw Women's Champion. I do want her to just fight everybody, including the men, at this point, and they're not going to give it to me, and it's very disappointing.
I know.
Rhea's definitely in there. It's very hard. There's been so many women's champions too.
I'm waiting on you to say my girl.
Well, Bianca's in there.
No, my other girl.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh no.
Queen Charlotte.
Oh.
I'm a Charlotte fan. I love Charlotte. Like, she ain't say my girl yet. She 14 times.
See, I always appreciate what Charlotte can do in the ring. She's not my favorite. I'll never like say she isn't talented or can go in the ring. She definitely can, but she's not for me. I do appreciate people who do, like, that's your girl. I won't disrespect her.
That's respect. No, that's fine. That's respect. I get it.
She does have a very bad moonsault, though. I will say it's not. It bothers me. That's my one critique I always have. I'm like, that moonsault is bad, and I don't like it. But I will say Bianca for sure. I mean, made history, the longest reigning women's champ of the modern era. They like put a cap on it
Right.
weirdly, and it like didn't make sense, but it's WWE logic. Who knows? Um, I'm gonna go Mandy Rose when she was NXT Women's Champion.
Okay.
I I loved me some Mandy Rose. I respect her for leaving and being like, you know what, y'all not gonna let me do this. Yet Riddle can, sleep with a porn star, but that's none of my business. Um,
Right.
double standards. It's crazy. But I love everything Mandy did. Her and Toxic Attraction was one of my favorite things in NXT at the time. So I'll always give Mandy Rose her flowers if I can.
Right.
uh,
I respect her too. I said, while she's over there like, y'all have to wrestle to eat, and I've made the money that they offered me on a contract in a day. So I respect that.
Honestly, and she just walked in Miami Swim Week. Same with Carmella, who was 6 months pregnant and looked beautiful.
They both look so gorgeous.
It's
Like
insane.
I like seeing that. Like, cause women we do get pregnant, you know.
I know,
I
crazy
respect it.
things. Who would have thought? Women getting pregnant. Couldn't.
Mm.
Crazy. Crazy ideas.
Because when she announced that she was pregnant, I saw men was like, "Oh my God, y'all know y'all are wrestlers." I'm like, "What? We can't get pregnant?" Jesus.
Like, especially after everything her and Corey went through, like, she
Mhm.
deserves this. Y'all don't take it away from her.
Yeah,
People are just.
she's a married woman now. Yes, that comes with marriage.
Yeah.
First there's marriage, then yeah, like it happens.
First comes love, there comes marriage, then
Then
comes.
come marriage, then baby and the baby.
Exactly! I haven't thought about that in years. Uh, is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
Oh, that's all that I have from the top of my head.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Well, thank you again so much, Keeks, again, for doing this with me. I appreciate it. You gotta tell the people where they can find you, all that stuff.
You can find me on Twitter, All Elite Keeks. Also on Instagram, same name, and also on Threads too. The same name, All Elite Keeks, all around. If you can't find it, just make sure you follow Public Enemies. Then you can find me. Make sure you like and subscribe to their page, because that's where the show is based off on. Is their platform on Public Enemies? It's my platform, but on their stuff, as they say. But yes, you can find me on Public Enemies. You can find me on TikTok. It's all the same handles. Um, yeah, and I'm open to just follow. Just keep, be respectful, keep it cute, and that's it. That's all I ask for.
And that's not asking for a lot, so
Right.
I feel like people need to respect that. Uh, and of course, gotta do my shameless little plug. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at KatieRasslin13. The link tree I'm about to get all things ShElite Showcase. Twitch.tv/ShElite Showcase, typically Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern. YouTube.com/ShElite Showcase. I always say watch the videos because they're way more entertaining. I'm very dalliant. I talk with my hands. It's a time. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts if you want to listen. There are a plethora of shows. The weekly show, this lovely interview series that I finally brought back after a few months. I hope you all are appreciating this. You can check out all the other episodes. I have one of my own, and it is a shit show. So if you'd like to go watch the inside the mind of me, you can, and it's a time, and I let it be on the internet, and it's there forever, and I have to live with it. But again, thank you so much, Keeks. Thank you everyone for watching and listening when you guys do. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye bye.
Thank you.